when Queen Elizabeth was here in 1984, the race that we conducted in her honor, Queen Elizabeth's Second Challenge Cup, was run on the dirt course. The Europeans aren't big on racing on the dirt, and she intimated to us after the race that it would be nice if we moved it to the turf course, which we were most happy to accommodate her. But that, and I suppose one of the things we did in 1989, and as you all know, Keeneland is very, very traditional. And the trainers at that time, in the 80s, started taking more time between races with their horses. Up to then, Bluegrass was 9 days before the Kentucky Derby, and it was a great prep. The trainers back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, they'd run their horses every 7 to 10 days. But the trainers just in the 80s started wanting more time between races. So we bucked tradition and we moved it 3 weeks from the Kentucky Derby for that reason. And the board of directors here, I'd like to again say that we had their total support. They were great. I knew in their heart that they didn't want to do that because it was a tradition that had been since 1937, 9 days before the Kentucky Derby. But in the interest of racing and the interest of Keeneland, they knew we had to do it. And I think that was the same feeling with the track announcer. Keeneland had never had a track announcer since its inception.
You take credit for that.
Well, I had almost all of the support of the board.
61 years of silence.
And again, in their heart, I knew they didn't want to do it. But in the 70s, we'd take a poll, and we'd ask the fans different questions, and that was one of the questions. And in the 70s, it was about 15% in favor of a public address system. Well, by the 90s, it was up to 85%. I thought, well, we've got to do it, and we bit the bullet and did it. And I think it's been very well accepted. But that's kind of how the racing end of it has progressed here at Keeneland, and we've gotten the purses up to where they're very competitive. They're the highest purses in North America. The quality of racing is just excellent. Half of the stakes races now are on the turf course, which is a nice compliment to the turf course. And it brought in new stables. It brought in trainers whose stables were just half of them ran on the grass, and it also brought in the Canadians. The Canadians they have very, very quality racing stables. King Haven and Sampson and some of those big stables started coming through here in the spring and really added a lot of quality to the racing here.